Hi guys, Dr. Rob Barrington here with some more nutrition advice. I'd like to talk today about the essential fatty acids and why it's important to maintain a specific ratio of these fatty acids in our diets in order to maintain health. So what are the essential fatty acids? Well, there are two essential fatty acids required for human health. One of them is an omega-3 fatty acid called alpha-linolenic acid. The other is an omega-6 fatty acid called linoleic acid. Now, these fatty acids are taken in the diet. They're not produced in the body, so we take them in from our diet, and they are converted to longer chain, more unsaturated fatty acids in the body, and in turn, these products of these fatty acids then become compounds called eicosanoids, and these eicosanoids regulate cell function, and in particular, they regulate the inflammatory reaction. Now, the omega-6 fatty acid, linoleic acid, is converted to two forms of eicosanoids. One of them is called the series 1 eicosanoids, and these are very anti-inflammatory. The other are converted to eicosanoids that are pro-inflammatory, and they are of the series 2 eicosanoids. Alpha-linolenic acid is converted to the series 3 eicosanoids, and they generally have an anti-inflammatory effect because they block the production of the pro-inflammatory series 2 eicosanoids. So it's a very complex pathway, and the ratio of these fatty acids is important because the pathways that they use to be converted to these eicosanoids share common enzymes. Therefore, if we increase the amount of omega-6 fatty acids in the diet, the omega-6 fatty acids start to dominate the pathway, and therefore the series 3 eicosanoids are reduced in their production. And likewise the other way, if we increase the amount of omega-3 fatty acids in the diet, the omega-3 fatty acids start to dominate the pathway, and the omega-6 products start to be reduced in their production. So the series 2 and the series 1 eicosanoids are decreased. So it's important to maintain a correct balance of these fatty acids, because this allows the correct regulation of inflammation in cells. The historical ratio from traditional diets is not known exactly, but it is roughly 3-to-1 in favour of the omega-6 fatty acids. So for every 3 grams of linoleic acid, you need 1 gram of alpha-linolenic acid. However, the typical Western diet supplies 10, maybe even 20 grams of linoleic acid for every 1 gram of alpha-linolenic acid. And this means that the omega-6 fatty acids start to dominate the essential fatty acid pathway. They start to crowd out the omega-3 fatty acids, and this means that we start to get a pro-inflammatory state in our tissues. Now, this is one of the drivers of disease. This is one of the reasons that a typical Western diet causes diseases such as type 2 diabetes, such as the metabolic syndrome, such as cardiovascular disease and obesity. The Western diet is a pro-inflammatory diet because it has an imbalance in the essential fatty acids. There are far too many omega-6 fatty acids, and there are far too few of the omega-3 fatty acids. So what we need to do is we need to eat a high-quality diet that decreases the amount of the omega-6 fatty acids and increases the amount of the omega-3 fatty acids. Now, the omega-6 fatty acids are found in most vegetable oils, corn oil, safflower oil, in sunflower oil. All of these oils contain high amounts of the omega-6 fatty acids, and they're very poor sources of the omega-3 fatty acids. The omega-3 fatty acids are generally found in green leafy vegetables. They're found in some seeds of particular plants, such as the flaxseed is very high in alpha-linolenic acid. But there is another way that we can increase the amount of omega-3s in the diet, and that is through the consumption of fish, because fish contains 2 fatty acids that are omega-3 fatty acids, eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid, and these 2 fatty acids feed into the pathway, and they increase the amount of omega-3 fatty acids that are then converted to the series 3, the anti-inflammatory series 3 eicosanoids. So what we need to do if we're consuming a Western diet is abandon that diet because it has far too many omega-6 fatty acids, and we need to consume a more traditional diet that increases the amounts of the omega-3 fatty acids. And if we look at traditional diets like the Mediterranean diet, this is exactly what we find. the use of sunflower oil, the use of corn oil is very low. They don't really use these types of oil at all. However, they do consume lots of fish, which contains icosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid, and they consume a lot of green leafy vegetables, which contains alpha-linolenic acid. And this provides an anti-inflammatory ratio of around 3 to 1 for omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, in order to be able to provide an anti-inflammatory state in the body. And this is why traditional diets like the Mediterranean diet are anti-inflammatory diets. If you have an inflammatory condition such as arthritis or some of the other conditions that are associated with inflammation, I would suggest that you try an anti-inflammatory traditional diet. If you are consuming a Western diet, you will almost certainly have an imbalance of your omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. You need to abandon that diet. You need to lower your omega-6 intake, and you need to increase your omega-3 intake, and that is achieved through consumption of a traditional diet such as the Mediterranean diet.